Hello, welcome to the I Am Ransom vlog. Like I said in the thumbnail, today is a matter of talking about getting over yourself in order to start a YouTube channel, in order to start creating art, creating your own video production, and putting it out for the world to see, which sounds crazy. Trust me, I understand it 100%. By the end of this video, I hope that you'll be encouraged. You'll hear a little bit of insight, maybe of my brain, my mind, what's on my heart, and hopefully I am encouraging somebody to get out there and start creating and just fulfilling that that place that you want to do, that you want to be. So one thing that kind of hit me just recently is I'm a filmmaker, and thanks again for visiting the I Am Ransom vlog, because of the fact that this is a journey for me that's going to be, I have some pretty big plans. I have some pretty big goals to produce with the audience, to produce not only with the audience, but with other people, traveling and creating and vlogging the whole entire thing. So like and subscribe, of course, that's the thing you got to do in order to be notified when we get these things up and going. But recently, speaking about filmmaking, I started thinking vlogging is exactly that. When actors, first thing I want to talk to you about basically is actors. I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of actors, producing, commercials, producing feature films, indie feature films, super low budget stuff. But you know what? No matter if you're working with a really large budget or a small budget, working with actors is a must. You have to have actors in order to do a feature project, just like a vlog. Now you can do a faceless channel, you can do all kinds of different creative things. You can upload all your cat videos and hope they go viral. But if you're gonna put your face, if you're gonna get out there and you're gonna say, I'm gonna do this, I'm just gonna make it happen, you're almost becoming like what an actor has to become, which is you gotta get over yourself. Now, how do you get over yourself? Well, let me tell a funny story. There was a time, probably a year and a half ago, when I just kind of started getting this itch to start doing YouTube. And I'm like, what is this? I've been watching people on YouTube for years. I think, I basically wanted to try it. So what I did was I held the camera out. I said, okay, let me look at myself. And I recorded something talking about my wife and Nicole and I were out somewhere. And when I looked at that video, I said, oh no, never will I be the person getting on camera and talking. But recently, a couple of different events have kind of motivated me, if you will. And one thing was one of our YouTube influencers that have been around for a long time ended up passing away. And the outpouring of people and the stories, the testimonies of people that were saying he helped me, he encouraged me, and then all the myriad of things that people were saying about the stories about how this person influenced them and made a difference in their life, and during a hard time they were literally being encouraged by his video production. And I'm like, wow, this is more than just seeing your own face or talking about something and making money for it, or monetization or the algorithm. This is actually, I guess I had never really thought about it as influence, but influencing people's lives to encourage them, to give them something. So an actor, a lot of times an actor will be motivated by money or fame, or just to get out on the stage, or maybe they grew up doing theater or something of that nature, and so they want to become an actor because it's kind of in line with what they've been doing, and that makes sense. But YouTube is a little different because it's so new, only 15 years. I mean, movies have been around for over 100 years, obviously, and it's very interesting how this works. Oh, by the way, I am on a tennis court because I am still just getting used to talking in public on a camera. There's nobody out here. And just like this hand of mine, it's a little shaky, so am I. So yeah, at the end of the day, this whole thing is definitely a how do you do it? How do you go about it? And I believe how you go about it is just do it. How do you become an actor? You just literally go sign up for an independent film. You go and get some experience on camera, maybe at your house. As a director, I've told a lot of people, a lot of young people that are part of our productions, or even older people, if you want to be an actor, the main thing that needs to be seen by a director or producer, someone who's going to cast you, a casting agency, is definitely just who are you? You know, now the sun is down on my face, you can't see who I am, but at the end of the day, who are you? What are you about? What are your acting chops? Give us some examples of your work. And that type of stuff right there is very valuable. Now, how do people that are casting movies, when they come to a different state or even in their state that they're producing, how did they do this to find you? You go to a casting agency, you say, hey, I want to be an actor. And you say, here it is. Here's my headshots. Here's my acting reel. And you get some more acting reels. One of the best pieces of advice that I've ever heard and that I give to people all the time is do as many films as you can, even if they're not projects you want to be a part of, or they're not the big budget movies that are your big goal. It's just get out there and do it. Just make it happen. Just don't give up. Keep going. And just take those parts. Now, some parts might not be the morals or might not be the storytelling you want to do, and I understand if you don't take everything, obviously, that comes your way. The other thing, though, is actors, you can make literally your own way. You can get out there and you can find a script, or maybe you write the script for yourself. I mean, great actors like Billy Bob Thornton, different people, Sylvester Stallone. Obviously, these people were actors that were working. Actually, I don't know about Billy Bob's story, but I know that Sling Blade was a pretty cool story of him getting in. But Sylvester Stallone was an actor prior to writing his big script and casting himself and making him the focus. Now, I say all of that to say this. When you're talking about YouTube, it's kind of that same process, right? It's kind of, you got to get yourself out there. You got to do it. Now, what are you passionate about? What are you doing? What are you wanting to do in your life? That's really up to you. That's really your, call, right? That's your decision. Maybe it's kind of what has happened in your life is going to dictate what you're going to talk about. Maybe you realize, hey, I'm a mechanic and I want to talk about cars. Obviously, there's plenty of videos. There's plenty of people on YouTube. But ultimately, what I'm talking today, the first thing I wanted to talk to you about was it's kind of like being an actor. You just got to get out there. And there's a lot of actors that I can think of and you can think of that maybe we don't see them. If you saw them, their presence or maybe even their type of acting, that you're like, I wouldn't imagine this person to have been a big star or be a very, very well-known supporting actor, but they're doing it because of the simple fact that, you know what? They put themselves out there, they had the confidence in themselves, and they just went for it. Now, I'll tell you, I honestly see myself on camera, and even right now, just talking to the camera, it's very, it's hard, it's difficult. This is like my 9th or 10th video, but I'm doing this because, you know what, someone else out there might be the next big YouTuber or encourager or person who makes a difference in the world, and that's all the reason to do it. And to be honest, there's so much darkness in this world. There's so much despair and so many terrible things that we hear all the time. Why not hear something good and hear something that's going to encourage people? So, like, if you can do that, if you can get out and you can get out of your comfort zone and make yourself that, vulnerable person, which is what art takes to make, is vulnerability. And then I heard Rick Rubin, talking about you got to do art for yourself, and then if it resonates with people, great, but do it for yourself. Now, what does that mean? I mean, if you're going out and you're talking and you're like, okay, I'm going to make a difference, but not on purpose. I'm just going to do my thing, and I'm just going to share testimony of how I overcame a certain issue or went through something. I think it's worth it to become an encourager to someone else and to give them something. I think that's pretty cool. And by doing, I think it kind of rewards also. It's the reward system. You're giving to other people. You're looking to help other people. And that reward system comes back to you, maybe in the form of success, maybe in the form of just testimonies. Maybe you never get monetized on YouTube. Maybe I never get monetized on YouTube. And I just continue to do these kind of talkings and maybe one person sees it. Is it worth it? Depends on your motivation. So the second thing I think is when you're thinking about YouTube in the terms of, how do you say it? Like production, film production, video production. When you think about that, you have to have a script. So that script, I think, is life. Not having to sit down and really plan it out. How am I going to talk to the audience? How am I going to resonate with the audience? How are they going to? That's a big, long, huge production time frame. Just getting the script done and just getting that thing out there to the point where you can actually get funding if you're going to that direction or if you're going to that level. With the films that I do, a lot of things are from the heart. I pray, I'm like, Lord, lead me, guide me to put something out there that would just be, with whatever money we have, the best possible project we can do. Now, a lot of times, these films that I've done in the past, and I'd like to share these stories with you and take you along as I share these stories, but ultimately, a lot of these films that we've done have had no serious budgets. But you know what? If you're a creator and you're wanting to make that that leap, I think the biggest thing is just be like that actor. Just be maybe not confident. You don't have to be confident to continue. You don't have to be confident to start, for sure. I'm still not confident. I mean, I made a lot of productions, but I'm usually on the other side of the camera, not on this side. And so I'm just being honest with you. I'm just trying to be as transparent as I can. I see some YouTubers that I've watched for years, and they're just so like natural and just so like likable and so kind and so, or funny or whatever they're doing, and as I started thinking about doing YouTube, I'm like, maybe I should do prank videos. I used to, in my younger years, I used to pull pranks on all my family, and I loved doing that. It was fun. I don't do it anymore. There's one that I remember that other people remember, my nieces remember, that one time, I think it was around Halloween, they were over, they were young, they were hanging out with my wife, and I went outside and climbed up on the roof and literally was walking around making noise on the roof because we have a flat roof at our house, and you could hear the walking. They got so scared, and then I came back inside, ran back inside and said, oh my gosh, there's someone on the roof. And they got so scared, and I don't know why I'm telling that other than prank videos. I don't think, I don't think that'd be so great. Maybe we come up with something. I'm a producer, director, writer of indie projects, smallest projects in the world, most of which you've never heard of. And I'm thinking about doing some creating. So maybe, I don't know about pranks, I don't know about that. But I think at the end of the day, doing something that would be scriptless, still ideas, concepts, and then include the audience in that production. I think that'd be kind of cool. So this is kind of a note to myself. Again, I'm putting these videos out, with the hopes that you stop by, that you came, that you're here, and that you're listening. And I want to share this with you. And I want to make this camera not shake so much. But at the end of the day, I think that just getting out there and doing it, starting it, not knowing where you're going is kind of cool, right? I think Oprah Winfrey was the one that, when they interviewed her about how this thing kind of all came to, she said she didn't have a plan. She just trusted God. And she was just kind of floating. And of course, Steven Spielberg called her and said, hey, let's get you in this movie. It's a whole story behind that, kind of a really cool story. I'm not really up on the story currently. I know it, but I don't want to start talking about it and say something wrong. tell you a story, if you know what I mean. So at the end of the day, yeah, I think just get out there and do it. Be yourself. Be yourself. See who it resonates with. See if you can just encourage someone. Put that light out there. That I heard another YouTuber that is still with us and is still creating. One of his older videos talks about this positivity, putting positivity in the world, and just putting light is the way I see it. So anyhow, if you think you can do that and you think you're wanting to do that, I don't think stop. If you have a channel that you started years ago and you gave up on it because no one's watching, or just isn't for me, or maybe I'm not resonating with the audience, or I haven't found my audience, I get it. I totally get it. I never have tried to put my face on just till about, 11, 12 days ago. And still, when I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh man, you don't need to be on camera, bro. Like, get the camera way out here, then you'll be okay. Like, way out there. Okay, now we can do it. Or do like a Dutch angle, no one can see you. Or do one of these things where it's half your face. Hey guys, how's it going? There's some strategies for you. But at the end of the day, even if you turned the camera around and just walked around and talked about your world, talked about your life, did your thing, and just, I think, consistency. That's my next thing. When it came to making films, this park that I'm standing in, actually, or I'm not standing in the park, there's a lot of people, and I'm trying, like I said, just to get over myself to make this video. But at the end of the day, this park that I'm in, where this tennis court, this was where I did my first film production I was doing video before that, and I had a gentleman approach me and wanted to invest and say, oh, we're gonna, and that's a whole other story. I'd like to tell that one about taking other people's money for your creativity and for your production, but it was a very big learning lesson. But at the end of the day, that first film was about an hour. It ended up going national. You know, back in the day when I was starting out to do filmmaking, there wasn't a lot of competition, so you could get out. It's kind of like being on YouTube in 2010. You would have been able to really kind of blow up, maybe find an audience a lot quicker, a lot faster. Although things are changing with the television and becoming the #1 streaming app just recently, or in the last year or two. YouTube is the biggest streaming in America, streaming platform. So that's pretty dang cool, you know, to be able to be on the biggest streaming platform and get a free channel. Start it. It's a channel. You get a channel. When I was starting out doing these productions, to get on some kind of a television like we did with this first film that I'm talking about, this 1 hour kind of a made for television movie, it was pretty hard. There was no, you know, nobody looking for you. Matter of fact, that's why when YouTube first started, there were so many people getting discovered. And it was like, I remember hearing about people becoming influencers, and then big networks were reaching out to him. Matter of fact, the gentleman I was just talking about that passed away recently, I heard his story, and I've not confirmed it. I don't know the gentleman personally. I met him, but somebody, one of his friends told the story on Facebook that he got discovered right on YouTube. So the world's different, obviously, but the world needs you to create. The world can use you to encourage. You can be a light in someone's life. You can be that positivity just by getting out and just saying, hey, I'm gonna do it. So I brought up that first film that we shot just literally right over that fence in the park, where now they've cut back the trees to the point where I don't know if they're gonna make it. But anyways, that's a whole other story. So that film was based on somebody that was in the military, that I literally was sitting behind them in church. I'm sorry, no, let me tell the story correctly here. I was sitting behind the wife of this gentleman who, when he and several others in the military were taken hostage during wartime, and literally the pastor got up and started praying, said we need to pray because this just happened. And his wife was sitting right in front of my wife and I. I didn't know her. I didn't know him. I had seen him in church. Hadn't seen him for a while, didn't know where he was at, but his wife every week would sit pretty much in front of us, where we, you know how you get in church and you kind of just sit there, you sit in the same pews or seats or whatever they are. And long story short, this person, we were all praying for him. Lord, please bring this guy back, bring these soldiers back safe, bring them. And I want to say from the time that we prayed, it was probably something like 30 days, maybe 40 days later. His wife was in church every week. Obviously, everybody continued praying. They let them out. I believe the story was 3 weeks to the day, or 3 weeks later, they were out. About a month later, this gentleman was sitting right in front of me, right in front of my wife. He was one of the soldiers that was out of this. And so I was so inspired when this other gentleman came to me and said, I want to invest in film. I want to invest in you as a filmmaker. I said, well, I'm not really a filmmaker. I don't know, but I wanted to make movies. Now I rushed and I wrote that script in like just a couple of nights. It was based on this gentleman. It was the story of faith. It was a soldier that went to war and came back and he gave his life to the Lord. And it was such a small, like, what are you doing kind of thing. Like when I look back on it now, you have to almost have that delusion, just jump in with both feet, almost to the point where it is like swimming. You just got to jump in and do it. Just go for it. Don't be afraid. Don't worry about what you look like. Don't worry about what you sound like. Don't worry about what you're going to say. Just start doing it. The cool thing is no one's watching at the beginning. So, man, could you imagine if like all of a sudden you had 1 million subscribers and now you're on the hook to be entertaining and you're on the hook to get out there and just share and be yourself and be comfortable, be normal. Yeah, no, I don't think, this has taken me a lot. And I thank the Lord for helping me to get over this, because I do find it rewarding. I also do find it hard on my arm because this selfie stick thing is not easy to hold, man. I'm gonna have to give me like a robot or something that can just film me. I'm joking. There's going to be a helicopter flying over here in just a second. It might get loud, but because there's a hospital, not because, you know, the military's or some other countries invading us. But at the end of the day, yeah, this is just that long format, unedited, just me talking to you and asking you to come along and watch this journey. Because not only am I praying, and I don't have any huge plans or any big mile marker goals, except for just simply the plan of putting out something cool, creating, and taking you along with me. So anyways, now I've taken you along for some time now, walking through. If you're still watching this video, I appreciate you. If you're liked and subscribed up, awesome. And at the end of the day, this is a long-winded way of just encouraging you. Get started, get back to it, do your thing, take your camera, make something creative, do something that just entertains. If it only entertains you, you've succeeded. If you've made art that you like and no one else does, you've succeeded. If you can make money at it, you very much succeeded, but that is not the goal. I mean, it is the goal. Let's be real honest. The goal is to make money, because we all need money to live. The more time you're going to take to make your art, the more money you're going to need to live. In today's world, where a gallon of milk costs $25, maybe not that expensive. I'm exaggerating, obviously. But yeah, this is definitely a time when we're going to need to be compensated. So being creative in that. But even if you're just setting the camera at your house and talking and encouraging people, do that. Seriously, be encouraged to do it. So listen, this is enough of a ransom rant for even me. So I'm going to stop. But I appreciate you. And thank you so much for your time. And in the future, more scripting, more formatting, more some exciting journeys we have planned. Some really cool locations and some production. And if you're a part of the group, you're going to be in on that production. That's what I'm planning, is to have you be part of the experience. This is going to be very immersive, is my goal. So anyways, this is Ransom. I'm signing off from the tennis courts. And you have a great day. I appreciate you.